Hello, hello, welcome back, welcome back. So I just wanted to pop in quick today and do a little video. Yesterday, Sunday, June 6th, the Mixed Media Emporium Facebook group with Nina Rabina and Carly Koo released their new prompt for June. And June's going to be watercolor month, and yesterday's prompt was watercolor silhouettes. So I'm working today, going to work today in my mixed media art journal book that I made a few months ago. I'll post the link to how to make this book down in my description. I will also post a link to the Facebook group for Mixed Media Emporium. And I'll post a link for Nina Rabina's YouTube channel as well as Carly Koo's YouTube channel down below. So make sure you check all those links out. Nina and Carly are phenomenal artists, so make sure you go over and give them some love on their channels. If you're new here, welcome. Thanks for joining me. If you're returning, again, thank you for joining me. I'm glad you're back. Grab yourselves a cup of coffee and tea, Coke, wine, whatever your beverage of choice is today, and sit back and relax and watch me create something in my art journal. Do me a favor, make sure you subscribe, give this video a thumbs up, and if you hit that little bell icon down below, every time I upload a new video, you'll be notified. So thanks for coming, and let's jump in. I'm going to be working today with my watercolors. It's oh shoot, I'm not sure what the name is. I got it at Michael's. I think it was the Michael's brand watercolor set. It's not a bad watercolor set for starting, especially if you're just starting out in watercolors. There's no use in spending a ton of money on something if you're not sure if you're going to use it. So for a beginner set, it's a really good value. You get lots of paint color options in there. And they're really pretty. They're nice and bright and vibrant, so it really appeals to me. And because today's prompt is a silhouette with the watercolors, I used my Cricut machine and I cut out a dancer under an umbrella. I'm just going to zoom you in here just a little bit more. I cut out the ballerina dancer holding an umbrella, and I'm going to put the quote with it. It says, life is not spent waiting for the storm to pass, but learning to dance in the rain. And after the week I had this past week with some vehicle issues and stuff, I thought that was a great reminder. So the first thing I want to do today is I want to glue my dancers together. And I want them to be a little bit thicker. So I cut 3 of the dancers out. And I'm just going to use my Beacon 3-in-1 or Fabri-Tac. I'm really convinced that Fabri-Tac and the Beacon 3-in-1 are basically the same glue. I don't notice a whole lot of difference in the in how they hold. They hold the same. They work the same. To me, they even smell the same. So I'm just going to layer those dancers up. The reason why I'm layering these dancers up, I don't want something super thick in my art journal, but I want something a little bit thicker because I want to do some water dripping and stuff, and I want it to run down and around the dancer, not necessarily behind the dancer or over the dancer. So that's why I've done that. And you could print out an image off the internet. Just look up silhouettes, and there's all sorts of images that you could print and then just fussy cut. I'm lazy. I like my die cutting system. I've got a Cricut and a Big Shot, and I utilize both of those an awful lot when I have to cut something out. I really am not a fussy cutter. So now I've got that cut out, and I am going to want to put that dancer in here. I think think I'm going to want to put it right there. I know that umbrella is going to sit there. I'll turn her at an angle. There's a little bit of a natural bend in the umbrella here at her hand. It's a little bit of a weak spot. So I think I can get away with putting that weak spot in her hand at the crease of the book. And then I'll design my page like this. I'll turn my book so that it's like that. I think that'll be a great way to design this layout. So the first thing I'm going to want to do is I'm going to want to put in some background colors. Let's see here. Let's get just a little registration for where her foot is going to be. So I make sure I've got a ground. Make sure I'm on screen here. Yeah. So I'm just going to take my pencil. I'm just going to put a little registration mark so that I know I want her toe touching some ground. And I want a little registration mark up here where I know that the umbrella, the top of the umbrella is going to be. All right, so let's get painting. I've got a bucket with several containers of water. I like to have lots of water when I'm painting. And I like to start with my lightest color, work my way into my darker colors. I'll just move you out just a smidge more here. Move my waters. And the other thing I want to do is I want to just kind of season my paints. I'm going to give them just a real light dusting of water. I'm going to do the same thing with my book, just give it a bit of a dusting with water so that my paints will move when I apply them to the paper. Dip my brush in the water. Maybe out just a bit more here. There we go. So I'm going to start with the light blue here, a little bit more water. So I hope you had a good weekend. Hope you're having a good week. I know it's only a Monday. You're not sure how your week's going to play out yet. I'm going to start just putting that color down. I'll pick up a little bit more water on my brush just to water that down. Like I was saying, for kind of a no-name entry-level watercolor, this is a great line. It's really heavily pigmented. So typically I like to have kind of one pot of water for every color that I might be using. Let's come in with a little bit of a darker blue here. There we go. Come in with that darker blue up at the top. Work that down into that lighter blue. Now I did have somebody ask me if I was ever worried about getting color on other pages. I'm really not. Pages I haven't done, I don't care if I get color on them. The pages that I have done, if I'm really worried, I'll put a little piece of paper in there, but typically I don't really worry too much about getting other paint colors and stuff like that on. When I'm coming off to the edge of my paper, you can see how I'm getting these little puddles. I'm kind of doing that on purpose, as I want to have those little puddles run themselves down the paper. Just going to come in with some just straight water here and just move that, thin that out, let that run. Now I think I want to bring just a little touch of purple in down here. Even though I'm painting a rainy day, I want happy, happy fun colors. I'll just bring that purple down, pick up a little bit more of that light blue that I first used. There we go. Bring that right down. There we go. I'm actually going to come in with a little bit of a darker purple up here in this darker blue, just to darken that sky up. There, I'm liking how that's looking. Work that down, work that blue down a little bit more. Okay, now I'm going to pick up just a tiny little bit of black on my brush and start bringing that in. I want to gray out the sky just ever so slightly. The camera's picking that up to be much darker than what it really is. There we go. Brush that all the way across. Nice, looks like a nice blend. Work that blue down again into that purple. The paper that I have in this mixed media journal is a watercolor paper, so it will allow me to build up a lot of layers here. So I'm going to come in at the bottom here with some black, because I want to anchor her feet on the ground. I'm going to come in with some water, rinse that brush out, and just soften that so it's not super dark. I think that will work just fine. Maybe I'll bring just a little bit more of that purple in there. Keep the tonality of the page. Yeah, I am liking that. Bring you back in so you can see. What do you think? Sometimes the hardest part in a project like this is knowing when to stop. That's a problem I have with a lot of projects. There we go. I think that looks good. I'm going to give my brush just a final rinse. So when you're working with watercolors, you can work either with a watercolor brush. These are fun brushes. They have a reservoir with water in it, and then you've got your brush tip, and you can just squeeze out the water as you need it. Or you can get brushes. Let's see here. My lights are bad again today. Or you can get a brush, a round brush like this. After I rinse my brushes, I always take and reform them so that they dry to a nice point, because there's nothing worse than having a brush that's supposed to be a certain shape and it's not. Just adjusting my lights here a little bit, see if I can get some better light. Like I said, I'm not sure what's going on with them lately, but light gremlins, you know. So I'm going to let that dry for a second or two. I may even go off and dry that with my blow dryer. So the dancer is going to fit in there just like that. I think that's beautiful. Well, that's actually doing not too bad. Yeah, I'm gonna go blow dry this and I will be right back. Sorry about that. My started working again and my camera didn't record. So what I did is I took my fan brush, and I just dipped it in some black paint and watered it down. I like using the black Gesso from Demco. It's an acrylic paint, and I just watered it down and then took and just tapped a few spots, some splatters onto my my book. I just think if I'm out dancing in the rain, I'm sure there's got to be some mud puddles and splashes going on. So now I'm gonna glue my dancer in place. Putting a fair bit of glue on. I don't want it to move. Gonna put her toe down in that darker area, make sure that the bend of the umbrella is right in the crease of my book. There we go. And let that should work. I may even come in with my straight blade and I might cut along there as well. All right, so I've got my dancer in place. I need to create my quote, and I'm going to bring in my trusty stamp platform. And I'm just stamping on, I'm just going to stamp on a piece of printer paper here. I don't need a thick paper for that. Let's see here. Maybe I'll move that over just a little bit more, make sure it's okay. And ink that up. And of course I always stamp in my archival, black archival ink from Ranger. Give that a minute to set up. And I want to ink that again. You don't have to have a stamp platform to stamp. It's just something I like to have so I can stamp that image multiple times. There we go. I just like my quotes to be have a little extra darkness to them. All right, so put that out of the way now. Yeah, I think I'm very carefully going to cut that part there. There we go. That's through. Yeah. That way I don't have to worry about it tugging on itself. Yeah, that's much better. All right, let's zoom you back in here a little bit again. There we go. I want the umbrella to look like it's wet. I'm using a gel pen. I'm going to come in along that outside and just kind of scribble that on there. Not sure how well the camera's picking up that glitter, but I just think it gives the umbrella a bit of a wet look. bring that up. There we go. Turn so the lights can catch it. So that just helps give the umbrella the look of being wet. Now I do want to make some water drips that are going to come down and drip down around the umbrella. So I'm going to come in with my Stadler watercolor pencils. See, I think this should work. If I come in and I color in, right in and along that umbrella line. And then I pick up some water, hoping that I can make that just, in theory, it should do two things. It should give me a bit of a dark shadow around the umbrella. But I'm hoping it'll also drip. No, it's not going to. Okay, so that's not going to do what I wanted it to do, and that's all right. So I'm going to come back into my watercolor paints. I'm going to pick up my dark blue. And make it inky and thick. And then I'm going to put that in here on each side of the umbrella and add some water. I'll just keep picking up water until it starts to run. There we go. Hope you can see that. Just picking up water until it runs off the corners of the umbrella and starts to drip down the page. There we go. Come back up to the top of the book. I've got lots of paint on my brush now, so it should start to run. There we go. Just going to blend that back out. Again, the camera's picking things up much darker than what they are in person, and that's all right. Things will run. Don't be afraid to stand your book up and just make things drip and run and move. Run your brush along your paper. There we go. I'm going to take all the blue paint out of my brush now so that it's just water, and just work that down. Blend that out. There we go. So that's just going to be blended right out. That's looking good. Good, good. All right, now that I've got things wet there again, I'm going to pick up some more of that darker blue and just run it and let things drip and run. Sorry, I know it's hard for you to see what I'm doing. I just want that to move down the page. And that's why I did those multiple layers of the dancer, because I want those drips to move around the umbrella and down the page. I don't want those drips falling in behind. Watercolor is pretty forgiving when you're using it in this manner. If you're doing an actual watercolor painting with it, you got to remember that you need to maintain your white space, because once you've colored something, you can't go back and put white back in. I think we are at the spot where I want to stop. Yeah, that is where I would like to be. So I'm going to let everything dry, and then I will put my quote on and finish off my page. All right, so everything's dry, and I was playing around with the quote I wanted to put on. I do like the whole quote, life is not about waiting for the storm to pass, but learning to dance in the rain. Unfortunately, the whole quote is awfully big, and it'll take up way too much space in my background. And to be honest with you, I'm too lazy to find a new quote or go print this out on my computer in a smaller font, which would totally be doable. I'm just kind of being lazy and don't want to do that right now. So I'm going to take the top part of the quote off and just put learning to dance in the rain. It will still have the same meaning to me. But as I was looking at this, I decided I wanted some sparkle. Ranger put out Perfect Pearls Mists years ago. It's a glitter spray. And I thought I'd pull some of that out. I'm just gonna spritz onto my tabletop here, pick it up with my splatter brush, and splatter that onto the background. A little bit more out. I want that glitter. I want to be able to see that glitter. There. I like that. That will work. I'm just going to wipe up the mess, and I'm actually even going to take and tip my book a bit and let those glitter spots kind of move like raindrops. Let's glue down the quote using my Beacon 3-in-1 like usual. And I am never worried about making sure something is super straight. That doesn't bother me. In fact, I tend to like things a little bit more cattywampus. Anyways, move that around. Learning to dance in the rain. All right. Going to take a charcoal pencil and just go around and smudge a little bit. Put a little bit of a shadow in around the quote. There we go. I want a little more glitter in around the dancer, I think. So I'm going to just come in with that black gel pen that I had earlier, and I'm going to just put a few squiggles and scribbles just to bring a little bit of that glitter in there. I'm going to use a blue gel pen and just put some scribbles in around those outside edges, through the top. I'm even going to bring that down over top of the purple. I think it'll be just fine. Put a little bit of blue squiggles onto the umbrella, mix in with those silver that I put on earlier. And there we go. That is my book finished. There you go. You can see that little glitter from the perfect pearls, glitter from the gel pens. A little bit of glitter down under her feet here maybe as well. There we go. That is it. That is my page done. I should date that. Today is June 7th, I believe. And that is that page finished. So I hope you like it. Thank you for joining me for another art adventure today. And remember to go and check the links down below. I'll have a link to the Mixed Media Emporium Facebook group. I'll have a link to Nina Rubina's YouTube channel as well as Kylie Koo's YouTube channel. And the prompt for June is watercolor, and the prompt for the first week of June was watercolor silhouette. And that's where this inspiration for this page came from, was from that prompt. Make sure you hit that subscribe and like button down below, hit the bell button, and you'll be notified every time I upload a new video. Thanks for stopping by and spending some time with me. Until next time, bye-bye.